being inbreds, that's recorded history. You can actually go into the history books and find this. And now this guy runs the world. So you got to think about, wow, how did that even come to pass? You got these Edomites, they don't even know that their ancestors were actually living in caves like degenerates. They think, oh, that was hundreds of millions of years ago. Bro, that was back when Richard the Lionheart, well, actually, I think it was
a couple thousand years ago.
Yeah, it was a couple thousand years ago, man. Y'all was all up in them caves, man. Being degenerates. Your own leader was like, no, man, this is too much. Not put the spirit on them, like, to have to just be like, we're just going to have to steal someone. We can't even be ourselves anymore. How are we going to be Edomites? Try and be getting up. Nah, they were like, fuck that, man. We ain't even Khazars anymore. We're Jews.
That's the point. Esau's worked hard on, changing his image. Man. So much so that people believe he's a righteous man. God, children of God on earth, basically.
Yeah,
he's nothing further but from that, man.
Yeah. Esau running that PR. We're going to finish Acts.
And it says, but if it be of Yahweh, you cannot overthrow it.
That's it, man. So it's basically everything moves. How the Lord sets it up, man. I have a good one on the same point. So that's why it's like all this trying to build what Jake's trying to build up on this side, but they ain't gonna come to naught. The Lord's getting ready to nuke this place, man. Like actual nuclear missiles are gonna land on London and eviscerate it. Most likely, more than likely, man. I don't see this place not getting touched by nukes. There's all kinds of off shit that goes on, man. They had one of the biggest Masonic ceremonies, like in London. So how is that energy needs to be cleansed? There's all kinds of off shit. You got the BBC down the road. What was going on at the BBC? A humongous paedophile ring, and it's still running. They're basically discovering more and more angles. You got a lot of football scandals, man. A lot of these coaches that were basically taking advantage of the kids that are underneath them. That was going on. That's what goes on in this country. So how is the Lord not going to have to cleanse that? We're going to be in the kingdom. We ain't going to be in the kingdom. You're going to have some building where thousands of children were raped and murdered. How are you going to have that? You ain't going to have that. That's going to have to get cleansed. You're right there, brother. What was it? Yeah, go on. Give me Maccabees.
Alright. This is back in 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died.
Yeah, so this is history, recorded history in the Bible. Everyone likes to talk about Alexander the Great. They don't know Alexander the Great. That guy had to get headlocked to even have sex with a woman, man. That guy was a raging homosexual. So they're talking about gay rights. You already had your gay leaders, man. Like, you go back to the Romans and the Greeks, they were getting down to all kinds of freak shit, man. Them guys basically, during the time of the Romans, if you had the status of a slave, anyone could just get all up in there and break that up, man. And that's what the elites really get down with out here as well. In the modern day, they really do that. You see all these kids going missing. They've got like, you might go into like a mall or something, they'll have a big board and say, okay, 14, this kid's missing. He was found missing around this area. Bruv, how do you go missing, man? At the age of 14, if you don't know the way home, then that means that nigga got kidnapped, man. Bruv, I knew the way home from when I was like 6. I could run around all day and then the sun starts going down and find my goddamn way home. How's a 14-year-old getting lost? He ain't getting lost, he's getting kidnapped, man. And getting sacrificed.
This is why you should trick them.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny, there was a chick walking past earlier. She was almost in tears. Like she lost her son. And then she was like, oh, don't go, man. I was like, you know what? They're ready to get chipped. You had them, what, Black Mirror, Archangel. That one with the Archangel, where you chip up the youth, you can see where they are, you can control. That's how people are. I'm like, the thing is, you have people walking around. The kid's got 2 nice, strong, developing legs. It could be 5 years old. That motherfucker is in a buggy. If a kid can walk, what in the fuck do you still need the buggy for? Bro, that's part of development. If you ain't using your legs, if you actually don't physically use your legs, they waste away. So what the hell, let the little nigga walk, man.
Are you promoting Israel?
Yes. No, hold on, darling. Not the state of Israel. Israel according to the Bible.
Oh no,
did you hear what I said?
Jews as far as I expect, they always coming from some cunning angle like that.
What, the guys in Israel? Yeah, they're a bunch of dirty dogs, man. They need to get taken out. See, that's how they're the same guys they were in the caves. That's who they still are. They just got a spiffing suit on, man, a nice sharp suit, but they're still a grimy devil. That's why all these nations are fighting. I hate them. Are reviling these Jews, man. These so-called Jews. You say a word against them, like anti-Semitic. They got a whole Labour Party getting fucked up because anti-Semitic remarks. Bro, everyone's fucking anti-Semitic, man. Go and look at what these guys are doing. These guys are blowing up children on the Gaza Strip. How can that not get condemned? These guys are blowing up kids. Hospitals getting blown up. They say, oh, rebel insurgents. But then you got families getting blown up. Man are doing airstrikes on youth them. But how's that not getting condemned? These so-called Jews can do whatever the fuck they want, man. And no one can say shit because anti-Semitic. That's BS, man. They're a bunch of devils, man. The Lord's going to take them out. Sure. Go back in Maccabees.
Verse 8, and his servants bear rule everyone in his place. And after his death they all put crowns upon themselves, and so did their sons after them many years.
Yeah, so after this is more history that's recorded. You can go look it up, man. After what's his name, Alexander the so-called Great got wiped out. I can't remember, how did he die, man? Did he die from gonorrhea or something? Syphilis, that's the one. That guy died from syphilis, man. From his homosexual lifestyle caught up with him. So after he died, then he had his boys, which he probably had homosexual relations with. His generals underneath him took over afterwards, which is more recorded history. Gone.
And evils were multiplied in the earth.
So the so-called white man came into power, and evils were multiplied in the earth. It's, that's amazing.
But consider this as well, they just and the Persians, right? The Persians were wicked as well, they're going off. But when they come into power, even worse. Yeah. They are more wicked than the Persians, man. That's why wickedness multiplies.
That's epic. Gone.
This is Proverbs 29 and 16. When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth, but the righteous shall see their fall.
Yeah, that's it. The righteous shall see their fall. And hey, you got wickedness multiplied out there. It's got to the point where wickedness is being basically heralded as righteousness. That's completely off. You got guys giving bravery awards to a guy for chopping his dick off and wearing a dress. And then you're meant to call that creature a woman. Give me a fucking break. Gone.
Back in 1 Maccabees 1 and 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes.
Yeah, a wicked root, man. So that was the thing is evils were multiplied, and these Edomites, these Greeks, were already doing all forms of wickedness. But then you had an especially wicked piece of shit that came out. It had to be specified. A wicked root. So that's, hey man, that's why you got in the scripture, it says what? The wicked are estranged from the womb. This guy lightning must have struck when this guy came out the womb. They're like, one of them when the oracles basically show that like lightning strikes, it starts raining. His mother probably died giving birth to him because that guy was such a wicked piece of shit.
Son of Antiochus the king.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. Old twat,
who had been a hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 130th and 7th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
Yeah, so white crime, like the brother was going into, that's old news. That was going on back then during the time when the Greeks were ruling. Them guys had hella wars with the Romans.
Yeah.
Even all the Greeks, the different Greek cities had wars with each other.
I believe it was called the Six Syrian Wars, and
the fights between
King
Ptolemy
and Seleucid line,
Yeah, that's in it. That's Esau's been getting down. Esau's a warmonger. That's worse. It's his blessing.
Yeah,
the only way you can get anything is by the sword. You go back to any time of war. War basically comes hand in hand with the sword. Go on.
In those days, verse 11, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are around.
So basically, Jake's been getting down with, getting with the heathen and doing all that off shit, man. Learning all that off shit from the jump, man. Because you go back in the day, man. Bruv, Jake's been on that from the jump, man. Any wicked way of the heathen, these guys will get all down with it as fast as they can.
Israel's biggest issue, man, biggest problem. You know, we always wanted to attach ourselves onto the heathen, man, because when we see them prosper, you know, you want to be a part of that, man, even though that's to your own destruction.
I have a quick one. Psalms 106:5. But were mingled among the heathen and learned their works and served their idols, which were a snare unto them. Yea, they sacrificed their sons and daughters unto devils.
Yeah, that still goes on, man. In the music industry, that's a big one for sacrifices, man. You can find lists. Although these guys, they get a deal, then you find like a few days, a few weeks, within a short space of time, someone in the family member gets run over, drops dead. Then they, you know, and the whole goddamn family.
They got wiped out.
Kanye West's mom.
Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah, then he made
No pictures, please.
Come on, man.
No pictures, man. What's wrong with you, man?
This guy's infatuated.
Yeah, he's gonna go home and
This guy's infatuated with men.
perform acts of sodomy with a dildo over the picture, man.
While watching Planet of the Apes.
Oh, you devil. Yeah, you are
Yeah,
devil,
you are a
man.
fucking devil, man.
Damn devil. Yeah, laugh, you devil.
That's right.
I bet you like kids, innit?
I'm going to fucking pedophile.
Well, he probably got touched by the he probably got raped by the Roman Catholic Church.
Yeah, man. Handcuffed it to a bed.
They raped me!
That guy was
Yeah, goddamn. Now he's got homosexual impulses that he can't control.
Can't help
You
but
agree with
get
that?
blown over men.
Back in 1 Maccabees 1 and 11. And in those days there went out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
Yeah, so this is old news, man. You've always had grimy black assholes that have wanted to go with the other nations and basically and try and get that good life, like basically sucking on their titty, man. But you know, that's lame. The Lord basically, these guys are wicked men, man. Described as wicked men. And judgment's really gonna catch up to them real swift. Because the thing is, we're in that time of judgment, man. Guys are catching all kinds of L's are being caught left, right, and center. People are getting messed up out here, man. Everyone and their grandmother's catching cancer.
Yep.
You know, you might get hit, you might get run over. You might have a fuck. There's all kinds of ways the Lord can catch you, man. The thing is, as well, is like, hey, the people getting caught out in this period of time, they're really getting it easy. Because, hey, we're coming into the worse times, man. Once that World War III starts kicking off, you're gonna have a draft's gonna be initiated.
Oh yeah.
And people are just gonna be getting grabbed up and thrown over there, man. Right. You go back in the day, it's like you'd have to have either a certain level of job or prestige to not get drafted, or you're gonna have to pay a fee. A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. They're fucking slaves to rent. How the fuck are they gonna afford? Like, okay, if they say, okay, if you give $5 grand, you ain't gonna get drafted. That means your ass is getting sent over to the Middle East to die.
like that film Time, Justin Timberlake.
Oh yeah, In Time. Yeah.
Time.
Don't say you go to prison, man. Go to concentration camps.
Yeah. It's one form of hell or another, man.
Because there ain't no room for it in the prison, so where you gonna go?
Exactly.
You're gonna go in concentration camps, man. You're gonna be euthanized. You know, that's what they got the guillotines for, man.
Yeah, for real. It's fucking expensive. Doing what you call lethal injection. That shit's expensive. It's gonna have to get to the point where they're just gonna have like a long list of people just.
All they need is a guillotine and a whetstone.
Yeah.
To really sharpen that shit.
Gonna have in it.
That's all they need, man. Heads in the basket, done. No, but it's good to tell you, man. It's gonna be the time of Jacob's trouble, man. You know? Jake don't really understand what that's gonna be about yet, but yeah, I hate telling you this, man.
Yeah, so that's why it's like, hey man, if you're making a deal with the so-called white man, you get that easy life for this period of time. Hey, that means the judgment of Guan, man. The Lord don't really. The Lord, He looks upon that as that's disgusting. Grab the Daniels.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah, okay, grab it. Yeah, grab it. Hold,
Daniel chapter 12 and 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people.
You know what? Grab because I was reading it earlier, it made me laugh, man. Heliodorus getting messed up, man.
Oh man, yeah.
That shit's gold, man.
Bro,
I'm
I'm gonna read that story. That's
that's
like second Maccabees.
It's like I think 7. No, I think
That's a great story.
no, that's a spectacular story.
Oh man, I need to find that quick.
Yeah, okay, it's 3 and like 23.
Yeah, 3:21 to 28.
Okay, yeah.
You can read it. Are you in it?
Because hey, it says the great archangel, mighty, and all these. The descriptions of these angels. That means it's like, yo, if you got an angel before you, you're really just gonna crumble, man. Especially in this, how wicked people are and feeble people are now. It says what with every age, even back in the time I believe it was Esdras, in the time of Esdras, he was saying like even then that people was like, you can see because of the age that people are growing weaker, man.
Yeah.
So it's like how much more so now? Them man back in the day were seeing the angels and were just like, oh, before their presence, all kinds of fruit. If you got some feeble, you're not even over 7 foot tall, and then you got some angel just there, mighty as hell. Like, go on, read it.
2nd Ezra chapter 3, verse 21. Then it would have pitied a man to see the falling down of the multitude of all sorts, and the fear of the high priest being in such an agony. They then called upon the Almighty Lord to keep the things committed of trust safe and sure for those that had committed them. Nevertheless, Heliodorus executed that which was decreed.
Yeah, he nabbed the things. I believe it was the goodly things from the temple, man. And that's why it's like, yo, man was so torn up. Man was like, he's messed up. He's calling him like, please. That's it, because that's basically like part of your identity is getting robbed and nabbed by some criminal Heliodorus. Hey man, you got to cry to the Lord to rectify that. It's the same thing that's going on today, but go on.
Verse 24. Now as he was there, present himself with his guard about the treasury, the Lord of spirits, the prince of all power, caused a great apparition, so that all that presumed to come in with him were astonished at the power of Yahweh, and fainted.
Yeah, the man got, you know what, there's anime One Piece here, they've got an ability within that called the King's Disposition, which is basically if your willpower is strong enough, you can make people lose consciousness, man. So this guy got it from the scriptures, the Lord basically had man just there, they dropped, they fell. The presence of the almighty power, he just gave them a touch, they man, wiped out, man.
The conqueror's hacking.
Yeah, the conqueror's hacking. I'm like, yo, you watch a video, that's exactly, he's exact same man just there. He just looks at man, he's like, pass out, man, or the slumped.
Yep.
Go on.
It said, and fainted, and was sore afraid. For there appeared unto them an horse with a terrible rider upon him.
With a terrible rider. So that means you go up in these you see this Renaissance art they have of angels. They're a bunch of babies flying around. It said what a terrible rider. That means you look upon him, you're just like, oh shit, who the fuck's that? What kind of messed up? You're like, damn. A man was there, everyone just got passed out, and he's just there, he's just like a terrible rider. Man said, you messed up, man. He probably wet himself at this point.
Coming worse than them riders from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. them man are looking at you, you're so messed up. Coming in worse than that, man.
Worse than that, man.
Shit, go on.
And it says, verse 25, but there appeared unto them an horse with a terrible rider upon him, and adorned with a very fair covering.
So he was decked out.
He was looking plush. The Lord had him basically come down. looking bad as hell.
Yeah, put better flow.
and come in it, bro. Man was looking mighty as hell. And he had all kinds of golds, plush, leathers, furs, silks. Man was there adorned as fuck. And he's just there staunch
and looking terrible.
Some dark face, big ass beard, big ass afro on the horse, just looking at you. The arms, all you're seeing is just definition of muscle, pure definition. Every muscle's defined. Man's holding the horse there, like you see in the horse, every muscle defined, ripped. You can see the heart beating, you can see the blood moving through the veins, man.
Or just
going
through the veins.
Yeah, just looking at. Hey, the thing is, some people are actually gonna get judged by these terrible angels, man.
Yeah, they just got terrible riders.
Hey, them terrible riders. Some people are gonna get bit. That's messed up.
Yeah, them same angels might come back and fucking do us again. Remember me, nigga.
And he's gonna be in the U.S. Treasury somewhere. And then that guy's Heliodorus is gonna. Well, not again.
Again. Man.
Like Mr. Burns or something.
Oh God.
It's 2nd Ezra 16 verse 11. So the Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence. You can't really stand before the Lord, man. You can't really stand before Yahweh Shai, man. You're going to crumble, you're going to break down, decompose on the spot. You know, it's the Most High wills it.
Some flimsy ass bodies.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, bro, man, I got some lame bodies out here, man.
Instant fear.
You don't eat for a day. I mean, you can still function, but you're like, oh, you're messed up, man. You don't drink enough water, you drop dead, man. You drink too much water, you drop dead. That means their body's weak and fleshy. There's all kinds of failings, man. You eat the wrong kinds of foods, you start getting messed up, man. The body don't function. And then you're gonna try and stand in the presence of the one the one that made you, or of his son, or one of them terrible. Right now, you messed up.
You're standing before a lion.
Yeah, the lion. You're over there trying to take pictures, then he just jumps on you, and you're getting eaten. God.
And it says, and adorned with a very fair covering. And it says, and he ran fiercely. And smote Heliodorus with his 4 feet.
So probably on a horse.
Yeah, he was on the horse, man. And the horse trampled him down, man. Man, this is some ultra horse, man. Some legendary horse from the spiritual realm. Just come there, just ripped him, just the forelegs, and bang, just decked in the hoof to the brain. It was done, man.
Got stomped out by a horse.
And that's the spirit.
Wiped out.
About getting kicked by a horse.
Yeah, getting kicked by a horse, for real. Heliodorus actually got done out by the horse, man. And got trampled. Some ultimate horse gun.
And it says, and it seemed that he sat upon the horse had made had a complete harness of gold.
Yes.
Yo,
So
that's very fair covering.
That was the horse would have been decked. He was decked just bare golds. Man's like, yo, you're going to do my work. You can't even be looking for us. Man was like, you know what? Give him like triple the amount of gold that he has when he's wearing. In fact, quadruple it. There's all kinds of man doing decked. Man got the horse decked. The horse is barely able to stand because he's got so much gold on. But he just come and kick nigga in the face, man.
Yep.
Gone.
Decked out.
Verse 26. Moreover, 2 other young men appeared before him, notable in strength.
Yes.
Yeah, two other young men. No actual young men, those were angels, man. So them men would have just got beamed down, just onto the ground, notable in strength.
That's overkill.
That means there was hand.
That means there was some men to fear, man. Yeah. Straight and brother said the same thing. Hey, bro, that's a beautiful scene, man. That's like, oh, you take Deontay Wilder and then triple his height and then just give him like, make him ripped.
Yep.
Then that's 2 more, one of those on the horse, then 2 more just throw up like they're just there.
Young men,
oh man. All messed up. You just got trampled by the horse. Then 2 other men are coming. Oh man, you're gonna be all kinds of fury.
Notable in strength.
Notable in strength. You ain't even moved. You lost the ability to move already.
And Super Zeus.
The super zoofs, like, oh man. God.
Excellent in beauty.
Yes.
Excellent in beauty. That means, hey man, you look at this. Man getting some ultimate specimens, man.
That
means who's some super specimens, man. You know, they got these, I can't even remember what the fuck that model's called, man. They got that super nigga model that they use. It was, you probably make that guy look like an average Jake, man. These guys some ultimate specimens, bearded, royal, with the royal attire and apparel.